girls pushed and it took off across the front, dragging a tormented roaring of tarmac and ripping plastic under the sulphur lights. She put her hands beneath her, not knowing that the plastic had just given way, and when she did, there was nothing between her skin and the speeding black but 2 millimetres of snow. It must have been only for a second, but the pain was electric. She leapt off and shouted and kicked and swore and punched the air, and they laughed and fell to the floor, not seeing the flecks of red in the snow. She should have gone home then. If she had, she could have bathed her hand. Her mum would have asked what had happened, bandaged it, sat her on the couch and laughed, talked, promised to be there more. She wouldn't have swung round the corner lamppost like the others, catching snow as it started to fall. She wouldn't have been spinning, arms wide, hand glistening as the speeding van mounted the curb.
Yeah, thanks Ian. I don't think I said Ian's second name, it's Ian O'Brien. And I know the book's called Homemade Weather.
Homemade Weather is part three stuff.
Yeah, the 3 prize winners, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's great stuff, thank you. What I'll do, if I may, I was going to put Chris on next, but I know Chris is a prose writer as well, so unless you've got a poem, Chris.
Me?
Yeah,
I've got a poem.
Oh, your poems? Okay, yeah, well, let's get you on next, mate. Then. Chris Moore, everybody. By all means, read some prose if you want to as well.
Oh, okay.
So just before COVID hit, I managed to get over shaking knees and shaking hands when I was reciting poetry. So 18 months later, if I start doing it again, I'm shaking like a shitty dog. It's all part of the show, don't worry. So this first one is called Eco Warrior. The kettle switches, the water boils. I snap out of my tiresome trance. Pouring the water into my instant coffee, I hear faintly in the next room the sound of a man being a news reporter, being anything but a news reporter. I add the milk, white bits float to the top. I pull a face. I don't like it when white bits float to the top. I pick them out as best I can. Out of the kitchen window, a man on a bike with a large white bag filled with more bags and junk struggles to keep balance. He stops momentarily, throws the large white bag filled with more bags and junk into the bushes opposite. It all goes everywhere. He rides on. Seething, I slam my drink down. White bits ride down a brown caffeine wave over the side of the mug until they hit the counter. I hurriedly put my trainers on, barely thinking about marking the duckhead carpet, and bolt out the door. Running up the street, I turn the waistband on my lounge pants over twice to prevent them from dropping. I catch up to the man in no time at all, kick his back tyre as he loses control and falls. Rage travels from my brain to my foot and is released in a ferocious power as I kick him in the chest again and again. I wrap one arm around his throat, the other behind his neck and grip like a vice, followed by slamming his head to the curb. The hatred for this man makes me stronger than I thought I could ever be. He's getting his comeuppance. He's the reason the world is broken. He's the reason dolphins are being born with plastic in their DNA. I scream at him, demanding he picks up his litter. Trembling, he obliges. Victorious, I tower over this cancer. My jawline aches from clenched teeth after the bloody, imaginative beating I've given him. Still in the kitchen, still holding my coffee, still in a fortress of convenience. I tell myself it wouldn't have been worth it. He probably had a knife. You can leave your tarot cards unturned. I know I'm a coward, a failed eco warrior in a diminishing land. Thank you. So my second one, final one, is called No Man's Land. Sat alone in the cracked red leather booth, dressed as someone else's idea of cool. Confidence temporarily heightened, soon to be palmed away by despair when realising you haven't been enlightened. Legendary quotes on your souls, legendary heads on the walls. You had potential in abundance, but were slow out of the traps. Got so far behind you began to believe you were leading the pack. until you were lapped by the young guns, giving it big thumbs up as they passed. Your bouncing back ability is now like a jumper sleeve with the elastic going slack, revising quotes of visionary agitators to summon the strength in your fingers to stop you falling into the jaws of commonality. Every once in a while you play with the possibility of peddling to the giant shed of mass destruction, nothing that a wild fantasy can't ward off as a timely distraction. Never have I ever once broke the ice, now the pig's going blunt, and you can forget about a simple eye fuck being able to suffice. All the right swipes have kids, all the left swipes are kids. You're stuck in a no man's land of park runs and binge watching telly, while faces you used to know hide in caves, tinkering with the imaginary. You do the same as you did last week and the week before, finish the diluted bourbon and head to the door. Catch your image in the mirror, touch your face, can't make out if that's age creeping in or a cleaning smear. Out in the cold you weigh it all up, isolation sets in knowing only the unknown are left around. None of the bars live up to what you envisioned in your mind's eye during the taxi ride to town. Deciding to head home, slightly saggy, slightly scraggy, reading an email suggesting Big Little Lies is right up your alley. Back in flat 237 with a yellow sticker snack, disillusion floats through under the door, forms a fist and gives you a crack. Winded, on the floor, probing for answers, thinking of the greats. Sexton, Cooper Clark, Plath, Bukowski. Staring at the ceiling, you realise the only thing you ever truly learn is that there is no master key. Thank you.